Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be reading Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantekam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapadakamalaam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunatham Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Shri Vishakam Mitam Sa Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dhanani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvisesh Sunnivadi Paschati Deshkarani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Namaha Mahavadanyaya हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कंठ राधा कंठ नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च प्रदानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे अन्ये च मुनयो ब्रह्मादयो मलः शिष्ये रूपेत्य अजग्मु कश्यापाङ्गीर्षद कश्यापाङ्गीरसादयः. Synonyms, translation, purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. Anya, many others, also Muniha sages, Brahman, O Brahmanas, Brahmarata, Sukadeva Goswami, Adyaha, and such others, Amalaha, completely purified, Sishye, by the disciples, Upetaha, accompanied Ajagmuhu, arrived Kashyapa, Angirasa, Adyaha, others. Translation: any and many others like Sukadeva Goswami and other purified souls, Kasyapa and Angirasa, and others, all accompanied by the respective disciples, arrived there. Purport: Sukadeva Goswami Brahmarata, the famous son and the disciple of Sri Vyasadeva, who taught him first the Mahabharata and then Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami recited 1,400,000 verses of the Mahabharata in the councils of the Gandharvas, Yakshas, and Rakshasas, and he recited Srimad Bhagavatam for the first time in the presence of Maharaj Parikshit. Wow! Thus he was, yeah. He thoroughly studied all the Vedic literatures from his great father. Thus, he was a completely purified soul by the dint of his extensive knowledge and the principles of religion. From Mahabharata Sabha Parva 4.11, it is understood that he was also present in the royal assembly of the Maharaj Yudhishthira and at the fasting of Maharaj Parikshit. As a bona fide disciple of Srila Vyasadeva, he inquired from his father very extensively about religious principles and spiritual values, and his great father also satisfied him by teaching him the yoga system by which one can attain the spiritual kingdom. What are the things he did? By which one can attain the spiritual kingdom, the differences between the fruity walk and empiric knowledge, the ways and means of attaining spiritual realization, the four ashramas, namely student life, the householder's life, retired life, and the renounced life, the sublime position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the process of seeing Him eye to eye, the bona fide candidate for receiving knowledge, the consideration of five elements, the unique position of the intelligence. Really? The consciousness of the material nature and the living entity, the symptoms of the self realized soul, the working principles of the material body, the symptoms of the influential modes of nature, the tree of the perpetual desire, and the psychic activities. There are 15 items even he asked from it. Huh? Sometimes he went to the sun planet with the permission of his father and Naradji. What? Went to sun planet, huh? Descriptions of his travel in space are given in the Shanti Parva of the Mahabharata. At last, he attained the transcendental realm. He is known by different names like Araneya, Arunishruta, Vyasaki, Vyasaki, Vyasmaja, Vyasatmaja, Kashyapa, one of the Prajapatis, the son of Marichi, Marichi, the one of the Prajapatis, Kashyapa, one of the Prajapatis, the son of Marichi, and one of the sons-in-law of Prajapati Daksha. He is the father of the gigantic bird Garuda, Kashyapa, who was given elephants and tortoise as eatables. What? Garuda eats elephants and tortoise, Prabhu. He married 13 daughters of the Prajapati Daksha, and their names are Aditi. Kashyapa married 13 daughters, huh? Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kastha, Arishta, Arish, Arista, Surasa, Ila, Muni, Krodha, Vasa, Tamra, Surabhi, Sarama, and Timi. He begot many children, both demigods and demons, by those wives. From his first wife, Aditi, all the 12 Adityas were born. One of them is Vamana, the incarnation of God. This great sage Kasyapa was also present at the time of Arjuna's birth. He received a presentation of the whole world from Parasuram. Later on, he asked Parasuram to go out of the world. His another name is Aristam Nemi. He lives on the northern side of the universe. Angirasa. He is the son of Maharshi Angira. Angirasam, Maharshi Angira. This Angira is good. Oh, Angirasa is son of Angira, and is known as Brihaspati, the priest of Angirasa is a Brihaspati. Huh? Oh, I don't know this. It is said that the Dronacharya was his partial incarnation. Ah. Sukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons, and the Brihaspati challenged him. His son is Kacha, and he delivered the fire weapon first to Bharadwaj Muni. He begot six sons like the fire god by his wife Chandramasi, one of the reputed stars. He could travel in space and therefore he could present himself even in the planets of Brahmaloka and Indraloka. He advised the king of heaven Indra about conquering the demons. Once he cursed Indra, who thus had to become a hog on the earth and was unwilling to return to the heaven. Such is the power of the attraction of illusory energy. Even a hog do not wish to part with its earthly possessions in exchange for the heavenly kingdom. He was a religious preceptor of the native of the different planets. तान् सिमीतान् महाभागान् उपलभ्य वसुत्तमः पूजायामाश धर्मज्ञो देशकालविभागवेत् ताम्, all of them, samethan, assembled together, Mahabhagan, all greatly powerful, Upalabhya, having received Vasu Uttamaha, the best among the Vasus, Vishmadeva. Pujayamasa, welcome the Dharmagnaha, one who knows religious principles. Desha, place, Kala, time, Vibhaga, with one who knows the adjustment of the time, place, and time. Translation. Vishmadev, who was the best among the eight Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to the time and place. Expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in the terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or the reformers of the world execute their mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of place and time. There are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of the God, Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in terms of the time and place. Vishnudev was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching this cult of devotional service, and therefore he could receive and welcome all the powerful sages assembled there at his deathbed for all the parts of the universe. He was certainly unable at that time to welcome and receive them physically because he was neither at his home nor in a normal healthy condition. But he was quite fit by the activities of his sound mind, and therefore he could utter sweet words with hearty expressions. Wow, this is the thing. And all of them are well received. One can perform one's duty by physical work, by mind, and by words. And he knew well how to utilize them in proper place, and therefore there was no difficulty for him to receive them, although physically unfit. Wow. To give respect, there is no, what do you say, limitation. No? You can, by mind, you can do it. Krishnam tattat prabhavagna asinam jagadishwaram idristam pujayamasha mayopata vigraham. Krishna, unto Lord Krishna, cha also that of him, prabhavagna, the knower of the glories Bhishma, Ashinam, sitting Jagat Ishwaram, the Lord of the universe, Hridistam, situated in the heart, Pujayam asa, worshipped, Maya by internal potency, Upatta manifested Vigraham, a form. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishmadev, and since Bhishmadev knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly. Purport. The Lord's omnipotency is displayed by his simultaneous presence in everywhere. He is present always in his eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan, and still he is present in everyone's heart, and even with an even invisible atom. When he manifests his eternal transcendental form in the material world, he does so by his internal potency. The external potency of the material energy has nothing to do with his internal form, eternal form. All these truths were known to Sri Bhishmadev, who worshipped him accordingly. Okay, I'll read. I have to. There is a class at after a particular time, so I have to read. So I'll be reciting some slokas now. Where is my Gaurnitai? Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Reciting Bhagavatam slokas. Krishna Prabhuji. Oh, can you get that book? कैसे प्रभु? मेरा कृपा है तो पागल आदमी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. जन्माद्यस्य यतोन्मयादितरतश्चात्विश्वविघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः. तेजो वारिमृधां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषां धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. धर्मः प्रोजितकैरवस्त्रवरमोहनमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं. श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः साध्यो हृदि अवरुध्यते सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यते. अत्र कृत्रिभिः शुश्रूक्षुभिः निगमकल्पतरुगलितं पदं सुखमुखादमृतदव संयुतं पिबथ भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका. प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्य कलौऽस्मिन् युगे जनः मन्दः सुमन्दमतयो मन्दभाग्यायुवादृतः. ऋताः नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. मुनयः साधु विष्टोऽहं भवाब्धिर्लोकमङ्गलं यत्कृतः कृष्णसम्प्रश्नो येनात्मसु प्रसीदति. सवैवं शम्बरो धर्मो यथो भक्तिरधोक्षते हेतु यप्रतिहाता यात्मासु प्रसीदति. वासुदेवे भगवते भक्तियोगप्रयोजनः जनयत्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं चेद हेतुकं. धर्मः स्वानुशस्तः वंशविश्वक्षेण कथास्म्यः उत्पादयति श्रमयेव हि केवलं. वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस्तत्त्वज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति ब्रह्मात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते. भगवानिति शब्दते. अतः श्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रमवकाशः स्वानुशिष्टश्च धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणं. तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां वदे श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च श्रेयश्च पूज्यश्च नेत्यदा. यद् अनुध्यासीन युक्तः कर्मग्रन्थि निबन्धनं चिन्तन्ति कोविडस्तस्य को न कुर्याकतारतिं. शुश्रूषोषदानस्य वासुदेव तथा जन्महत्सेवया तीर्थनिषेवना.
आप सभी भक्तों का हार्दिक स्वागत. वाचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. आज का अनुसूची में पहला कार्यक्रम है बुक रीडिंग, जो प्रभुपाद द्वारा लिखा हुआ हरिनाम जप की महिमा, चैंट एंड बी हैप्पी. हिज ग्रेस कृष्णा अलग भारत से हम श्रवण करेंगे. उसके पश्चात पौने 7 बजे हिज ग्रेस महेश गौरी गोविंद प्रभु भागवत कथा में श्रवण कराएंगे. भागवत कथा है कैंटो 11 chapter 22 10 to 11 slokas, enumeration of the elements of material creation. तो चलिए मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहता हूँ घर गए साक्षी गिरा माता जी को इस बुक का पठन शुरू करने के लिए. हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri. Chant and be happy. The power of mantra meditation. based on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Verse from George Harrison. Everybody is looking for Krishna. Some don't realize that they are, but they are. Krishna is God, the source of all that exists, the cause of all that is, was, or ever will be. As God is unlimited, He has many names: Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Ram. All the Krishna, all are Krishna, all are one. By serving God through each thought, word, and deed, and by chanting of His holy names, the devotee quickly develops God consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One inevitably arrives at Krishna consciousness. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Dedication. We dedicate this book to our beloved spiritual master and guide, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought the transcendental teachings of Lord Krishna, including the authorized science of reincarnation, to the Western world. The search for happiness. Everyone wants to be happy. Some of us seek happiness through our families, in natural and healthy living, in successful careers, active social lives, fine gourmet foods, gambling, or through sports and exercise. Others experience happiness in politics, the arts, academia, or in hobbies ranging from mechanics and computer science to drama, philanthropy, welfare work, and literally thousands of other activities and that comprise humankind's unending quest for pleasure. Millions of people find their happiness in liquor, mood elevators, tranquilizers, or other drugs. Each day, doctors and scientists discover more about how the human mind and body work. Yet, with this abundance of scientific knowledge and space age technology, which vastly outstrips that of all previous generations, are modern people really any happier than their predecessors? The basic problem in our search for happiness is that our sources of pleasure are all limited. What many people consider our most basic and fundamental pleasures, eating and sex, can only occupy a few moments of each day. Our bodies constantly thwart our plans for enjoyment. After all, you can only eat so much before becoming ill. Even sex has its limits. Chant and Be Happy provides information about how we can expand our pleasure beyond our present limitations. It deals with the pleasure principles that operates beyond the bounds of time and space and emanates from the innermost part of our being. This book thoroughly explains how this inner happiness can be experienced immediately by anyone through the mystical power of transcendental sound vibrations. The technique of the technique for obtaining unlimited happiness does not depend on new products touted by Fleet Street whiz kids or Hollywood moguls, but has been successfully practiced by countless people throughout the ages. Chant and Be Happy explains how to use these transcendental sound vibrations to attain the ultimate state of happiness. It's an easy process and it's free. Achieve this unlimited and imperishable happiness, one need only chant and hear what sages of ancient India have for millennia called the great chant for deliverance. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this simple 16-word mantra, is comprised of sound vibrations powerful enough to awaken the natural happiness within everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In recent years, millions have learned how to chant the Hare Krishna mantra and experience this true spiritual happiness. It is the most popular mantra in India, the homeland of meditation, and differs from other systems in two ways. First, the complete mantra is chanted, not just a fragment of a mantra. And second, the mantra is chanted aloud, not silently. A brief introduction by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder and spiritual master of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, explains the exact nature and meaning of the mantra. Chapter 1, an exclusive interview with the late George Harrison, reveals how the Hare Krishna mantra played a leading role in his life over the years. George explains that although he had achieved riches and fame beyond that most people could ever hope for, he found that there was nothing higher than the happiness he experienced from chanting Hare Krishna. George discusses his confidence in the mantra's power over death, explains how much of his musical career was influenced by and intimately connected with the Hare Krishna mantra, and describes the knowledge, bliss, and spiritual intelligence that comes from chanting. In chapter 2, Srila Prabhupada speaks with John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and George Harrison at John's estate in Titanerhurst Park, discussing the potency of Hare Krishna mantra as the path to peace and liberation. Chapter 3 is a fascinating account of how Srila Prabhupada brought the chanting of Hare Krishna from India to Western world in the midst of the countercultural turmoil of the 60s and convinced the disillusioned hippies of New York's Greenwich Village and San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury that this mantra, not psychedelic drugs and anti-war protest, would make them happy. The history. Uh, Hare Krishna. Chapter 3 is a fascinating account of how Srila Prabhupada brought the chanting of Hare Krishna from India to Western world in the midst of the countercultural. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, extremely sorry. There are some login issues. I will display it one second. Yeah, it is here, Mataji.
Not.
Yeah.
History of chanting and meditating for higher consciousness is discussed in chapter 4. The next chapter delineates the life and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 16th century saint, mystic, and incarnation of Lord Krishna, who popularized the timeless practice of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Chapter 6, a narration taken from one of India's most important historical and philosophical literatures, the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, reveals how by simply hearing the chanting of Hare Krishna from a genuine spiritual master, anyone's character can be freed from all unwanted qualities. The next chapter forms a treatise of self realization, mantras, religion, and the power of the mind in meditation, compiled from the teachings presented in Srila Prabhupada's books. Chapter 8 explains the wide ranging effects and personal benefits one can expect from the chanting Hare Krishna. The final chapter gives practical step by step instructions for chanting, which, if followed, will open the door to unlimited happiness, ultimate happiness. On chanting. Shortly after His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada brought the Hare Krishna mantra to the West in 1965. Hare Krishna became a household word in 1979. Dr. A.L. Basham, the world's leading authority on Indian history and religion, wrote of the Hare Krishna movement. It arose out of nothing in less than 20 years and has become known all over the West. This, I feel, is a sign of the times and an important fact in the history of the Western world. But what exactly do the words Hare Krishna mean? In this short essay from the album Krishna Consciousness, which first introduced Beatles George Harrison and John Lennon to the chanting, Srila Prabhupada explains the meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra. The transcendental vibration established by the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the sublime method for reviving our transcendental consciousness. As living spiritual soul, we are all originally Krishna conscious entities, but due to our association with matter from time immemorial, our consciousness is now adulterated by material atmosphere. The material atmosphere in which we are now living is called Maya or illusion. Maya means that which is not. And what is the illusion? The illusion is that we are all trying to be lords of material nature, while actually we are under the grip of her stringent laws. When a servant artificially tries to imitate imitate the all-powerful master, he is said to be in illusion. We are trying to exploit the resources of material nature, but actually we are becoming more and more entangled in her complexities. Therefore, although we are engaged in hard struggle to conquer nature, we are ever more dependent on her. This illusory struggle against material nature can be stopped at once by revealing of our eternal Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this.
Balaji, yeah, thank you